Hey guys, it's Rob here with We Give 110. We're here with Kay Rich and, of course, our expert on all that is financial, Misa. Welcome back again, Misa, for our expert panel. So Misa's going to be here every week or every weekday on not every weekday, every weekly, every Wednesday, blah, 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 right? And she's going to be here at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock CST. And I guess that's 5 o'clock Mountain Time and whatever Pacific people are there. And of course, that is 9 or 8 a.m. in Seoul time. Okay, so so we're going to be talking about basically outsourcing and how that can help your business, right?
Yes.
And this is something so important. I think that a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, don't really know. Mm-hmm. And it's the whole idea of you don't need to know how if you know who.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So I'll turn it over to you, Misa, and you can take it from here.
Thank you. Yes, I completely agree, because outsourcing is one of those things that I think as entrepreneurs, it's like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I have to do everything myself. Like, this is my company. This is my thing. I need to know how to do it all. I need to just take it all and not give it to anyone else. But in reality, that can work for someone you're not trying to really grow a really large or really have a really, really long lasting business. But if you're really trying to grow and scale a business, you will have to have a team. It's proven multiple times. If you look at any large corporation, they have a team of people to carry out all the operations and everything for the company. And it's the same for entrepreneurs with smaller businesses. If you really want to grow, you're going to need to get a team in place. And so today I'll talk about 3 benefits of outsourcing and why it's important. Because it just helps you to kind of get your business going even faster if you can get the necessary help you need sooner rather than later when you're probably crying on the floor somewhere. So one of the first benefits of outsourcing is, one, it gives you some time back. One of the most precious things that we have in life is time. And as entrepreneurs, of course, time is very limited and it's very precious. And so if it's just you and you're trying to do every single thing in your business, all from sales, marketing, then actually handling clients, you're doing everything.
Yeah, and you can't do it. You just can't.
How can you do it? You have 24 hours in a day. You cannot do it all.
Octopus. You got to be an octopus, right?
Exactly. Like, no one can do it all, and then really actually build something. Like, you're going to need to let some of it go if you're really trying to build up your business. And the best way to do that is to get some help and actually give it off to people who that's what they do. So it's not going to take them any time to do it. They're not even going to have to think about it. They can just do it. It's natural. And then you get what you need automatically because you have somebody taking care of it for you. And you don't have to learn it. You don't have to research. You don't have to Google. You don't have to do all of that. Just give it to somebody who already knows.
Yeah. And the time saving.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I mean, it's just people, you will not understand how much time you can save by outsourcing to other people to do the work.
Exactly.
And I know you're going to talk about that, and it's like time is money, and it's so true.
Yes. And that's I know a lot of people, when they think about outsourcing, the first thing they think about is, oh my gosh, this is going to cost me something. But when you think about how much time you're going to get back, I think it balances out in the end. And whatever you had to pay to outsource, whatever it was, you're going to get it back 10 times over, just because you don't have to worry about, marketing when that's not really your area. You can actually focus on what you created your business for and what you really are good at, which will benefit you in the end.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where it doesn't even have to be at your business.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of people think, oh, I need to outsource. I need to outsource this. You can outsource your stuff for a home as well, so you can spend more time with your business.
Exactly.
Right? Like how many people like doing the dishes? Right?
No.
How many people? I mean, maybe you don't want people going through your dainties, but having someone do your laundry. They can come in, do your windows, do your laundry, do your dishes, clean the floors, feed the cat, feed the dog, take them for a walk.
It's called We Give 110 services. I contract with my wife. She's off, educating kids, and I'm at home working from home, doing the laundry and the dishes. No, I'm not. I try to be good at it. I try to love and care, but it doesn't happen all the
time. It's true. But yeah, it's going to save you the time. And I think one of the biggest things is expertise as well.
Yes.
Right. And, you touched on that. Like, you don't have to know marketing, and Carrie's going to jump in here. We can do marketing. But the whole idea is that the experts that are out there, there's so many experts out there, and they know more than you do. Even if you went to school for that same subject, other people will have different views on it, and experts in their own field. So like. Misa, we were talking just earlier before, and we were talking about like taxes and stuff like that. And honestly, bookkeepers, I mean, doing taxes and stuff is a part of the deal, but it's not always the most enjoyable part, right?
Exactly.
And that's where tax lawyers and tax experts come in. So why don't you talk a little bit about that and helping people with that? With those kind of experts.
Oh, and that's because, like, for me, I strictly handle the bookkeeping part. So at the end of the day, I will get you set up and ready for taxes. So all you have to do is hand over your books to your accountant, and they can file your taxes. And usually, because all the work that comes up to taxes, that's like all the details and all, getting everything in order. That is a majority of the work. And so you can probably also save money, because if your accountant has books that are clean and ready and all they have to do is file, they can't charge you as much.
Well, that's perfectlykeptbooks.com. She's going to save you money on your taxes, and then your tax people are going to get you a refund. So.
Well, no, because like even one of my clients, she even said, she was like, normally, like, her husband has to wait on her to get her stuff in order so then they can file their taxes. Well, this year, her stuff was ready to go, like way in advance, and she was just like, oh, this is just so wonderful. She's like, everything's ready to go. We can file our taxes. And then she was even wanting to apply for one of the PPP loans. And I was just like, yes, because that's when you have your stuff in order, you can do things like that. You can apply for loans. You can file your taxes early. You can get everything done. And then while everyone else is stressing out during tax season, you can sit down and just kind of chill and continue on doing whatever you need to do for your business.
Now, here's a good question. I think that, talking about outsourcing for like services that you do, but also the idea. Now, I'm a foreigner in comparison to Americans, right? Because I'm a Canadian, and I'm a double foreigner because I'm a Canadian who lives in another country. For people who are doing business in the United States, is there some sort of expert that we should look at getting? Like, should we get a bookkeeper that's in the States or a tax accountant in the States? Like, it's kind of a big question, but
I mean, because technically you can find someone anywhere. Because I mean, anyone says, "Oh yeah, I can handle that for you. I can do your bookkeeping," and they probably can. But ideally, depending on where you are, I would recommend finding someone who's actually like in your actual country, or it just makes it easier. It makes the process easier. Like, of course, U.S. and Canada, you can cross, you can go across, but the way we handle things in the U.S. aren't always the same in Canada. So it's just someone would have to have knowledge of multiple countries, which there are people who do, but they're probably rare. So it's just probably easier to find someone who's pretty much in your same situation, so they can kind of understand where you're coming from.
And so I have not really a question, but like a comment to kind of spar with Rob a little bit. Like, that's where the value ladder comes into play, right? So it's like, what can I provide value on this part of what I do? But what can I also add to the value that I'm stacking on the individual I'm helping, right? So not just having me keeping the books, but also a network of experts that I can point that business owner to and connect them with people that do specific things. And to me, when I think about, you could pick anybody, you could, right? But it all boils down to relationships and trust and consideration. And I think that's the biggest selling piece that I've seen out of your company, and also just how you approach your work and your clients. So that's all.
And I think even with Carrie and I have both had the same experiences in the past, where we've had business partners who have financially done things that were incorrect. And we were, I guess the right word would be, we were too naive to do something. Like, we said, okay, you're going to be the one we're trusting to do this. Like, that's part of your job. And, one thing led to another thing. And, it's not just happened once with me, but it's happened once or twice. Twice. And I think that outsourcing to someone like yourself to do the bookkeeping, especially when there's partners involved, is a great way to, one, save that relationship between the two of you.
Yes.
Because when one person is doing the money, the other person doesn't have the idea, and then communication. Fact. Exactly. It's a fact. Right? And it goes back and forth. And if you're not open about it, then it becomes a problem. But then if one person doesn't understand it, it becomes a problem as well. So having like a bookkeeper like yourself. Now, do you have any clients that are like that, where they have like multiple partners? And
I do not have any who have partners, luckily. Well, one lady that I was working with, she was in a partnership, but they are no longer partners. So that that just probably goes to the point of, that's really the hard thing, especially when you do have a partnership, is how can y'all kind of have an even playing field, and then make sure that y'all are both on the same page, but then also no one's doing anything weird or anything that's going to, put your business in jeopardy. And that's, if you don't have like that third party kind of in there to kind of, kind of keep things clear and clean for everyone,
right?
then it makes it a problem later.
And I mean that doesn't have to apply to just money as well. Like this whole idea of outsourcing is like maybe one person feels like they're the one doing all the work.
Yes.
Right, and the other person doesn't understand it. But if you were to bring in a third party and like maybe take over, not just doing books, but maybe like, you know, sweeping the shop or sweeping the store or, you know, doing those little things. That's another way you can one, save time, two, save the business relationship and, you know, and move forward in your business because you have more time to focus on it.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah. So is there any other topics you want to touch on this one? Like, do you have any ideas of resources or anything? Or
well, just a couple more things. So like when you do another benefit of outsourcing is how much stress it'll take off of you. Because when you're sitting there trying to either figure it out or research or whatever you're trying to do, it causes stress just because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know if you're doing it right. It's just a lot on your plate. And then you're also trying to figure out, well, you know, I need to get clients. I need to figure out how to make money. I need to do all these things. And if you bring in someone to take, even if it's just, because especially starting out early, even if it's just taking one little piece off your plate. So like taking the bookkeeping off your plate. Like if you're sitting there spending hours trying to figure things out, you could hand it off to someone who it may not take them hours. Like they can get things done and keep you up to date. Then that way, okay, now you have information that you can use to actually make some decisions and figure out what you need to do. Whether that's, okay, yes, you do need to get a couple more clients, or maybe you need to stop spending in this area, or maybe you need to cut down on all those subscriptions, you know, just kind of like, then you actually have the information up front and you don't have to worry about trying to figure out everything and then have everything a mess and you can't really run your business.
And that's where like the expertise comes into play. And it's just like, I don't operate as an expert in books because that's not what I do.
Exactly.
So it's like, if I'm not going to outsource it, I have to learn it and understand it. You understand it and learn it. And that's not going to happen.
No,
that's not going to happen. So it's just like, I need to understand the value that you provide and the cost that's involved and weigh that over me doing it and spending time away from my business, in my business, growing my business.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the big things is that there are websites that are out there that are totally devoted to outsourcing or like virtual assistants.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I mean, some of them, like, I'm doing this as a plug, not as a plug. disclaimer, this is not a plug, but like Fiverr, like I've used them.
Oh, I love Fiverr.
Exactly, right?
I love Fiverr.
Right. So if you need someone to do graphics for you, program for you, like whatever, there's someone in there that will do that. And I mean, Carrie and I were looking for a solution for where we work, and we're like, well, we'd have to program this, and I'm not sure if I can program that because I haven't touched programming in a long time, and this person's too busy to do it. And it was like, let's check out Fiverr.
Like, yes, exactly. Exactly. And I'm like, you can even, because I'm like, in the early stages, especially when you're like starting out and you're just trying to figure things out and get things going, like you can use resources like Fiverr to, you know, someone who can just do it. They can probably knock it out in, you know, less than a day, where you'd probably spend weeks trying to figure something out or trying to create something, and then they can get it back to you, and then you can move on, and you're done. Like you don't have to.
And that's the thing.
Yes,
it's like you can check it off your list, and it's gone. It's going to be done. You can communicate with the person and get what you want. And I think that's a very big thing. Now, the other thing about that is it's a write-off as well.
Yes. It's a business expense. Yes, exactly. It's a business expense.
No,
So, yeah.
no, I'm not sure about we give 110 home services there, Carrie. I'm not sure if that's a write-off yet, but yeah, he was gonna say something, but he stopped.
Everything is a write-off as long as you know the tax code, sir. I will tell you this. I've got an excellent bookkeeper and I've got an excellent accountant. And I'm telling you, if you don't have that as a business owner, if you don't have that just filing your own taxes, if you don't know what to do when it comes to like, how can I leverage myself in this situation, then you're just following like a sheep, right? Yep. You need to put in the time. Like, and if you don't want to put in the time to research, it's like, I'm not going to read through 19,000 pages of tax documents. I'm going to hire one of the best, and I'm going to pay him what he's worth. And if it's 500 or if it's 1,000 and he gets me 10,000 back, do you think that's a good balance? And to me, that's a great balance. Exactly. So it's just like the $300, the $299, the monthly charges that, you know, for you to be able to take over my books and get them in order, that's well worth my time, because that just closed me a deal. That just put on another client on my plate so that I can continue to do what I do.
Exactly. And that's the last benefit when you do outsource. You can make more money, because I'm like, when you take all that stuff off your plate, now you're free to go out there and do whatever you need to do to make money. So if you do need to get out there and get some more clients, or even if it's serving your current clients, you now have the freedom and time to do it, because you're not sitting here worrying about, oh, let me see if I can get all these things done. And well, now I have to figure out how to do them first, and then I can get them done. And then you're wasting all this time when you could have just been out there getting the clients you need to bring in some money.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest key takeaways for this whole purpose is that in business, if you can outsource it and get someone to do it, it frees up your time to one, do what you need to do for your business.
Exactly.
Two, do what you enjoy doing in your business.
Yes.
And a lot of people, like we say this to a lot of people, is that you want to have that passion to do a job. Right? Because what's the difference between a job and a career? A job is you go somewhere and you get a paycheck and you walk away and you don't really care. But if you have a career, that's something that you're investing your time and your life into, right? And for yourself, you like numbers and you like doing stuff with numbers and working with books and stuff. That's awesome. I like numbers. I like sorting that stuff out, but I wouldn't be sitting there doing math for a living. No, thank you. Not my style. But dealing with people and helping them solve problems is great for me. But if I'm sitting there and I'm trying to figure out the numbers, you know, like doing my math and doing my taxes and doing all those things, that just eats away my time where I could be dealing with someone and doing what I enjoy and experiencing that, right?
Exactly.
Because that's how I can benefit other people, right? Is giving them that opportunity to have my time and help them solve their problems, right? So, yeah, I mean, these are great things. Yeah, Carrie.
No, we've learned that at like our full-time jobs. Rob and I, disclaimer, we work at ClickFunnels, and it's just like, let us pour out our skills and provide value. Right? I do what I do great. Rob does really good at what he does. And it's just like, you've got to let that out. You've got to express that. You've got to outsource that so that you have a dream team. It's just like, you know, I do one minute piece with my videography, but I play a part in a team that's moving towards a goal. And I don't try to step in anybody else's lane. I'm not an artist. I can't make music. I can't write it. But what I can do is I can record it, I can document it, and I can tell a story in a way that's going to impact your audience. So it's just like you do what you do in financing and accounting and bookkeeping, and Rob does what he does. It's just like, I'm going to continue to provide value for those customers, for the people I serve, for whatever skill set I bring to the table. I'm going to pour that back, and I'm going to build that trust. It all goes back to trust for me. What you're building with your clients and how you're serving them, right?
Exactly.
You can be a carpenter and build things, or you can be a craftsman and you can build works of art. You can either help them categorize their books, or you can help them categorize their books and also provide recommendations on how they could save money, how they could improve their longevity of their business, how they could scale. And it just sounds like to me, like you're on that opposite side of it. You want to provide more value than what it is, the skill that you bring to the table. Like, I'm a bookkeeper. That's what I do by trade. But here is the art that I'm selling to you, that I'm providing you, that I'm serving you with. And that's the biggest takeaway that I had today, is listening to everything you were saying. So I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. That's the whole point. I try to get across to people, because I know, especially when it comes to bookkeeping, people are like, well, okay, you're just, putting some stuff, you just put some transactions together. But I'm like,
you're just supposed to put the money in here and tell me to drop it off at the bank.
Yeah. Exactly. But I'm like, when you realize just how important it is, and when you can actually see it, that's when you can really start to make changes. Because like, when clients, they see, oh, well, I'm not really making as much as I thought I was. And then they're like, okay, maybe I need to increase my prices, or maybe I do need to sign a couple more clients. Then you have a little bit more clarity, and you know what direction you need to move in.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the great things about the expertise that you do bring, is when it comes down to business is money. And then having a good bookkeeper is so important. Right. So, is there anything else that you would like to add today for those? I think you covered all of those things. You're right on. And this is the kind of advice that we try to provide all the time. And Misa is so in line with what we practice and what we try to teach people. And that's why we have you here as an expert, because, as we say, a lot of people listen to us and then they go, but then when they hear other people say it as well,
exactly,
it's so true, and it rings so well for other people.
Well, I remember you talking about investment, and so just from my own personal experience of investing my skill back into people, it's that, like, you can either get minimal returns on your investment, or you can maximize your investment, right? So it's just like, I don't just want to get by. I don't want to just put that report in the accountant's lap, categorized and nice and neat. I want to understand my numbers.
Exactly.
I want to be able to call Misa on the phone and say, "What do you think?" I'm sitting here. Why are we just breaking even? It just seems like you're going to be able to provide that input and that value, and that's what. Like, when I think of building a relationship with my bookkeeper, I want them to understand what I don't know, like the gaps and the blind spots that I don't see. I want them to catch them beforehand, right? Because that's just not what I'm trained to do. So my encouragement for you, if you're watching this on replay or live, is to think deeply about your finances, your books, right? Because your books dictate the health of your organization and your company, and it also affects your personal life. Trust me when I tell you that.
Yes.
If you're not 100% transparent with the people inside and outside of work with your finances, it's going to become a problem. And you need a bookkeeper. So I recommend that you contact Misa at Perfectly. That's just my personal recommendation. But I appreciate that you came on and made it happen for us again today.
Of course.
Yes, thank you so much. And, we look forward to hearing from you next week. What's your topic for next week going to be so people can be ready for it? Not sure yet?
I remember.
That's okay. It's suspense. It's suspense.
Hey,
you have to come and you have to hear it because you're not going to get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Saying we give 110 time, saying we give 110 channel. Yes. All right. Thank you very much, Misa. And it's always been a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you here. And once again, for everybody out there, Misa, perfectlykept.books.com. You can check her out and see what she offers. And if you're if you're looking for a bookkeeper, no one better. She's right there. Right. Right. And also remember that if you're catching this on one of our different streams, if you're getting it on one of our Facebook pages, Facebook, YouTube, or anywhere else, that you can also subscribe to wegive110.com and get your version of the personal success guide for free. And you can always come in and check in on us weekly, as we're going to be bringing on some more experts. We're going to have a health expert. We're going to have a coach, a mental coaching expert, and we're also going to be doing some live builds of funnels soon for some people out there. And now one of the other things is we have a little bit of a pet project going on in the background, so we're going to be highlighting that as well for all those people out there, which is actually we're going to be showing people a little bit about the music niche. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. We can probably send some of those guys over to you to handle their books.
They need it. They need it badly. Badly. Yeah,
because they're gonna have to start paying us because we're not going to be doing this all for free for them. So once again, we give 110 and Perfectly Kept Books. Misa, thank you for coming in, and
thank you.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Awesome.